Hey guys, it's Alexander, and today I am talking about the 5-inch external monitor by Portkeys. Let's go. So I've had this monitor for quite some time now, and I've been able to figure out, based off my time with it in the studio, but also on location, some pros and cons that I'm gonna walk you guys through and kind of just give you my 2 cents on if this monitor is worth your time or not. So my first impression with this monitor was the size. When I first opened the box, I was very shocked by how small it was. And even though it's 5 inches as advertised, it just feels really small holding it like this. And so to kind of give it some comparison, here is my iPhone 11, and you can kind of see the size difference. My iPhone 11 is actually bigger than the monitor, which is crazy. Surprisingly, my phone's also heavier too. So that gives you some kind of idea of just how lightweight and compact this monitor is. So this is ideal for a gimbal setup, a run and gun setup, maybe a really small handheld director's monitor, whatever you can think of. If you're looking for something that's very small and compact and very lightweight, this monitor is a sure bet. Now, I want to touch on the actual build quality of the monitor. I know it may look kind of rugged and almost metallic, but this is nothing but plastic. So if you chuck this thing, this will break or crack, or this will not last long at all. So definitely, if you can find a rubberized case, or you can protect this some kind of way, do whatever you can, because this may not last long term. As far as build quality goes, you get what you pay for. However, you do get a lot of bang for your buck based off the features that are included in this monitor. So let's talk about those. So when I was in the market looking for a monitor for either my gimbal setup or my handheld setup, one of the top priorities for me besides price was finding a monitor that can support LUTs. So this is great because this monitor, you can actually take a USB that you've loaded your LUTs onto and just insert it like a computer, and it will actually read the USB and you can import any LUTs that you want to use. And this is great because on set, I shoot S-Log3 or S-Log2 or any just kind of flat profile that I can get into. And it's important for me to see what the final image or close to final image will look like based off the LUTs that I use. So if that's important to you, this monitor will definitely support that. So as you see here, this monitor has no buttons on it. It is completely touchscreen, which is kind of cool or bad depending on your stance. Now for me, it goes both ways. I like the fact that there is no buttons because that kind of makes it a bit easier to use. However, it does get kind of confusing, and I will touch on this later on in the video about having to use pure touchscreen for all your menu buttons and everything like that. So if I flip to the back of this monitor, you'll see that it actually uses both Sony NPF batteries, but also Canon batteries too, which is kind of cool if you're an old school Canon user like me from either the 5D or 7D era, and you have a lot of those batteries left over. That is kind of cool. However, I will say that those batteries do not power this monitor for very long. So you might get maybe, I want to say, an hour to 2 hours of use out of that battery versus the big Sony NPF batteries, which on this thing will last you all day for the most part. So if you're like me on set, I usually have my handheld gimbal setup that I go to that's very run and gun, but I'm also sending out a signal to a wireless monitor for my client to typically see. And it was very important for me to find a monitor that can support HDMI in, but also HDMI out. So if you're like me, I usually shoot in a very flat profile, and I prefer whatever monitor that I have to have a LUT over that. However, one caveat to this monitor is that it does not send that LUT signal to the wireless monitor. So whatever's coming out of this HDMI out will not have that LUT. Now that could be a deal breaker for you, considering that most clients won't want to look at a flat image. They want to see what you're seeing, which is, you know, close to the final result of what you're shooting. So that could be a deal breaker. And that's kind of why I held on to my SmallHD. But again, for the price of this monitor, you really can't beat what you're getting out of this. But if you are shooting on a camera that doesn't need to have that flat profile, or you don't plan on coloring in post, then this monitor again is a great bet for the price point. So you really can't beat again what this monitor offers for the price. Okay, so a few last things I want to touch on about this monitor are that you do have the option for plug-in wall AC power. That's kind of cool. You have one headphones jack as well to monitor your audio, and you have one mounting point for either your tripod or wherever you want to mount this to basically. So now the cons of this monitor. Again, this is a very lightweight, small monitor. It's very compact, which is great. However, it is very flimsy. I can see this thing dropping and breaking really easily. One more thing is that it's kind of an awkward size. It's almost like cell phone shaped, but not quite the right dimensions to where this could take a cell phone screen protector. And I really can't seem to find some kind of screen protector for this on Amazon that can fit the dimensions exactly. So that is kind of a con about this. Now back to how I said that this was completely touchscreen. Again, that's kind of cool depending on your standpoint. However, it can be a bit tricky trying to swipe and navigate the menus on this thing because it's all touchscreen. And especially if you're on set or it's nighttime where you can't see or your hands are kind of busy, it has been a bit tricky for me to kind of navigate or get to certain features that I want to activate. Now, I did touch on the fact that even though it has an HDMI out, it can't send the LUT signal out to wherever you're going to. So keep that in mind. If you plan on having a second monitor that's wireless that you want to send the signal to, it's going to have whatever image is coming off the camera directly. So if you have a LUT here, that LUT will not transfer out of the HDMI out to whatever source you're going to. Now, one more thing I want to touch on is that even though this comes with a sun visor, the visor is kind of flimsy and it feels very cheap, just like plasticky, and it mounts via these little like pegs right here. And to be quite honest, I already lost mine. I had it on my hip for a shoot and it just fell off and I lost it. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how flimsy and cheap the sun visor is. I kind of wish you could get one that could just like Velcro at the top, and maybe you can DIY that. But the one that this comes with is not really worth it. One more con about this is that it only has one mounting point for wherever you want to put this on. So either a light stand or a camera or something like that. Granted, it's in a really good place where it's as you would probably need it to be. However, I kind of miss my SmallHD 701 in the sense where that monitor has a mounting point on all sides of the actual monitor. And so if I was on a one-handed gimbal and I wanted to have my monitor mount via like right here on the side, that would be very convenient. But the fact that it's on the bottom, I have to have some kind of arm bend and this and that, and it's just one more thing that I have to do that I wish I didn't have to do. So there's a lot packed into this monitor as far as features go. I'll have a full list of what's available in the description below, but just so you guys know now, it also supports 3D LUTs, aspect ratio guides, false color, anamorphic support, zooming, audio meters, and histogram support as well too. So you get a lot of bang for your buck with this Portkeys monitor. Despite its size of being only 5 inches, you can do a lot with it. This monitor does come with a hard case. It is plastic and it kind of feels 3D printed, but it is functional and it does its job. Again, this isn't like a Pelican case. It's a lot softer, but again, if you drop this, it won't break. Also, the monitor comes with this mounting bracket to attach the monitor to a camera. To be honest, it's not my favorite. It does the job and it's like some kind of aluminum. However, I opted to swap this out for a Smallrig version. I felt that it was a lot stronger, sturdier, and the monitor didn't come loose as easily. So in closing, if you're on a budget and looking for a run and gun style lightweight monitor, this is definitely worth looking at. I opted to keep this monitor once I got it because even though it didn't support 3D LUTs on the HDMI out, it still served its purpose and offers a slew of features that you can find in bigger name brands. And in general, this monitor still fit most of my needs. Now, if you're looking for a monitor that has great build quality and can last in your kit for more than 3 to 4 years, I might suggest looking elsewhere, maybe at SmallHD or Atomos. But if you want a budget-friendly monitor that gets the job done, then I would take a look at the Portkeys 5-inch monitor because you just might like it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
And guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, guys, and also leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. And last but not least, guys, if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. It does help support it, and it keeps you guys updated each week when I release new videos. And guys, that is it. I'll see you next time.